Greetings, vinyl peeps. Mike from My Guitar Player 07 here, coming at you live with another vinyl record video. As you can see, we're going on another record adventure today. I'm in my truck, so once again, pardon the vertical angle, but as I said in the previous adventurous videos, well, my car mount doesn't allow for horizontal because it'll smack my volume knob of the stereo, it'll interfere with the gear shifter, and the whole thing. So, we're going back to Station 1 Records and Books. This time, if you can see behind me here, I got a crate full of records and then another small stack that doesn't fit in the crate. And I'm gonna sell some stuff. I pulled out 50 some records that I don't listen to a whole heck of a lot. So I was like, instead of them just collecting dust in my collection, why don't give them new homes and for people who will appreciate them, so they can have them, because I'd much rather them be put to good use. A couple people in the VCU I have like their phone numbers for, I texted them a few titles that I had that I think that they would enjoy, most of which have agreed, and those will be sent out as VCLTs. If Jersey Joey from Under the Needle is around, I know he's very busy today, but he said that he can make time while I'm in his neck of the woods, because he lives in the same town as the record shop. He said that he would stop by and say hello, and he'll get dibs at the box too. So, but anyway, that's what I'm up to right now, and Station 1 Records and Books has done a remodel. So, I'll get to see what that looks like for the first time. I know that they allow for recording because Jersey Joey Under the Needle does do recordings there, but I'm still gonna ask them if I can do it, and if they tell me yes, I will show you around a little bit. So, stick around, and I'll check back with you shortly. Now off to listen to Taylor Swift's new album, Folklore, on the hour drive to Station 1 Records and Books. I look forward to when the physical copies come in so I can get the bonus track, and you will see about those when the time comes, when the physical media is released and in my hand. Here is Station 1. Don't forget to stay 6 feet apart. They remodeled recently and it looks hella good. CDs and records here, but now this is the vintage audio equipment section, it looks like. Parts of it. This wall still has some CDs and some other audio equipment though. Good stuff. Realizing partway through recording this, half of it is in horizontal, half of it is not, so sorry about that. This is another part of the store, all revamped. Some cassettes, some box sets, some dollar records, some of the CDs I've picked up so far. And you're telling me you're educating Marique, you got a VCLT going her way? I'm not showing.
VCLT coming her way.
I'm not going to show what's on the camera. I'm not going to show it, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. Oh, wow.
I'm trying to...
This album is fantastic. That's my favorite. And that one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah. Marique, you're in for a treat. The Holy Moly wall. They got some good stuff on the Holy Moly wall. Even some signed Kiss solo albums. Hello, vinyl peeps. So, back in horizontal mode, as I said earlier. Sorry about the various shifts in orientation. When I'm not sitting here saying, "Hi, I'm about to record a YouTube video," it's just kind of a habit to do it vertically and all that, you know, with the modern day of the iPhone, at least in my case, but a smartphone in general, I guess. So, I bet you guys want to know what I picked up. Well, why don't I show you? I only got a couple records. This haul is mainly CDs, and a lot of them. Most of those CDs were 50 cents. The most I paid for any of the CDs was $4. So, and the most expensive record was $7. So, those trades, didn't do too well on those. They weren't interested in most of it, which is more than okay. I got $7 store credit and like maybe 5 some records. So it was better than nothing. $7 store credit that paid for one album, and that paid for this one. This is Michael Jackson's Bad, the last of Michael Jackson's albums I'm tentatively looking for on vinyl record. This is one of my favorite Michael Jackson albums. It's just fantastic. And fun fact about the Michael Jackson album, Bad. And I discovered this when I got the cassette version in senior year of high school. So I was used to the CD version. And the CD version ends with a song called Leave Me Alone. The cassette version ended on Smooth Criminal. And I was like, where's the last track? It turns out that the vinyl record and cassette version end on Smooth Criminal, and Leave Me Alone was a bonus track added to the CD version. And this was, 1986, 87? 87. So CDs were around, so I guess it was just a perk to buy the new technology. I'm not sure, but grab that. This is one I've been looking for a while. This is War, the World is a Ghetto. I have Steve Carlson to thank for my appreciation and love of the band War. I did know the hit single off this album called The Cisco Kid, before hearing this album in its entirety when I Spotify'd it a month or two ago. It's just a good album, and some soul, funk, some grooves. And as I said, The Cisco Kid was a hit off that, and I've known that song since I was a kid because I was given for one of my early birthdays an album called Entertainment Weekly, 1973, because I really loved a song called A Little Willie by Sweet, because my dad had the 45 of that and played that a lot when we were younger. And then he got that CD because it had that song on it for me, and then I fell in love with the rest of the tunes on it. It had Bad Bad Leroy Brown by Jim Croce, Cisco Kid, Love Train by the OJs, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree by Dawn featuring Tony Orlando. Bunch of great stuff. The next vinyl record I got was one that I've never actually seen in the wild. To be fair, I've never seen the War one in wild either, but this Dokken, Under Lock and Key? Under Lock and Key. I had this on CD, but now I have it on vinyl record. So now there's only like one or two more Dokken albums I'm actively looking for on vinyl record. But yeah, I was thrilled to find this for the price I found it at, because usually you see this $10+, especially in this condition, but Station 1 Records and Books have great prices and great records. And then finally, I got the Yes album by Yes. This has a big hit, I've Seen All the Good People. And I believe Starship Trooper is also on this. Yes, it is. Starship Trooper is on here as well. So that's the vinyl records I got. I was kind of hitting my budget, but I did see the Willie Nelson and Family Live album that I've been looking for a good price. Very good price, especially in near mint condition. But I had already went over my budget. I was mainly going to use the money that I made from the trade-in, but I didn't get as much as I expected, which is more than okay. I had cash on me, so we were good. So, some CDs. And by some, I mean a stack of CDs. A handful of these are inspired by VC members, just like you who are watching. So, let's get started. The first two right off the bat. First four, really, but we'll get there. First two are inspired by Shannon D here in the VC, and she is doing a great series on Tori Amos's discography. And I ended up finding her first two albums. Little Earthquakes and what is this, Under the Pink? Under the Pink, yes. Little Earthquakes I have not heard yet, but Under the Pink I Spotify'd it a couple weeks ago. Really enjoyed it. I was really looking for the album Boys for Pele because that's my favorite of the ones I've heard so far, but they didn't have that. They had a couple others, but I figured I'm going to wait until I watch and see Shannon review them to see if they're something of interest, even though you got me quite interested. And I've recognized this album cover before Shannon showed it, and I believe David Newton has a copy of this too. So this might be one of those albums in that like 1001 Albums to Hear Before You Die book. I'll have to look again, but I definitely recognize this album. But yeah, I know this is a great one. Do not know this one yet, but I look forward to it. Very interesting back cover on this one. I'm going to have to rewatch Shannon's review on this one because I can't remember if she mentioned anything about the significance behind that back cover, but it's definitely interesting. And this is a very nice photo of Tori in the back of that one. So I think I have Shannon to thank for those, and I really have been enjoying what I've heard by Tori Amos. Boys for Pele, if I don't own that by the end of the year, I'm going to be very disappointed. Next, I got 2 REM albums. I got REM's Reckoning, and I got REM's Green. I've always loved REM from a young age, but I don't own a whole lot of their stuff. Of all the collections I own, my grandfather had more REM on CD than anybody else. My mom and dad had 2, I own 2, and my grandfather had like 4 or 5. And now I own these 2 in my collection. Reckoning, right? Yeah, Reckoning and Green. By name, I don't recognize any songs off Reckoning, but my parents and my grandfather owned the IRS Records comp called Amphididymus. So I assume that some of the songs on there are featured on here. And this album I've heard before. I had this album digitally and needed it on physical format, and glad I now have it. This had the big hit Orange Crush on it. And Swellhead's Network. Logan is a big fan of REM. It's his favorite band, so maybe he could lead me further into the direction of which REM albums to check out next. I'll have to send him a list of the ones I've heard. And yeah, I've never been disappointed by an REM release. Overall, don't love the album Monster, but actually Logan said to check out the new anniversary reissue mix of it, so I'm going to be doing that. And Shannon actually did a REM video recently too, so great stuff. And speaking of Shannon, the last little bit that was inspired by any of Shannon's videos is, like she did an overview of the band Green, REM, she did one on Wilco. So I got 2 Wilco albums. This is their debut, AM, and this is actually a promo copy, which is kind of cool. I don't know how well that gold lettering is coming on the cover, but that is a gold stamp promo. And this is their album, Wilco the Album. And yeah, this is like a more modern one. This one's 2009, so this is 11 years old, but that's still fairly modern for Wilco, because Wilco started in the early 90s. Nope, I stand corrected, mid-90s, 95. I've heard 2 of their albums. Neither of them are these ones. It's Something Hotel from like 2002, that album. And then after I watched her video on it, I think it was like Summertooth, I believe is the name of the album. She said it had like a Beach Boys and summer vibe, so I was like, oh, cool, I'll have to check that out. They actually had a copy of that album too, the Summertooth or whatever that one, but it was not in good condition, and I wasn't willing to pay the price they were asking for it. At least for the condition it was in. If it was in better condition, it would have been worth the price. So thank you to Shannon for that as well. I am very thankful that I am being turned on to new music thanks to you. Next, I guess I have another individual to thank for me buying this one. This is American Graffiti soundtrack on CD, the 2-disc set. And I guess I could thank Miranda Holter for this one, because I probably wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't for her recent contest and her talking all about it. Even though I love all the tunes on it, I know almost all of them and own almost all of them in some format. But yeah, the 2-disc set of the American Graffiti soundtrack, and good stuff. All the rest were not inspired by anybody. No, not inspired by anybody, but still good stuff and stuff I'm looking forward to checking out. So, everybody, or a lot of people know I'm starting to try to build up my Bob Dylan collection, so I found this, Planet Waves, and I think he did this with the band, if I'm not mistaken. So I grabbed this. This is a 2004 reissue on the new Columbia label for the CD version of it, I should say. Because that was a label that they used in the 70s forward for the vinyl records. But Planet Waves, with the high esteem this album gets, I look very much so forward to checking that out. The next I got is the best of the Alan Parsons project. Now, I've always been told that I need to check out the album I, Robot, and I don't know if there's any songs on I, Robot from this release, because I just picked this up, so I don't really know anything about it. I used to own the album by him, Friendly Turn of Card, or something like that. I don't remember if that's exactly what it's called, but it had the King card on with the black cover. Cool album cover. But my friend was starting a record collection, and I gave him that because I know he likes some more proggy music. And You know, the first time I listened to that album, I enjoyed it. The second time I didn't, and I didn't know if it was because of my mood or what. Well, if I ever find it again, I will pick it up for myself. But I figured, check out more Alan Parsons project. Okay, next one. This is George Winston's album, Autumn. This is a classical album. George Winston is a pianist. I have his album December and Forest. I believe Forest is the name of the other one. And just good stuff. And it's on the Windham Hill label. And Windham Hill is one of the best labels for modern contemporary classical, with the as well as GRP records. I don't know if both of those labels are still around today, but at least back in the 80s and 90s, they were the best for contemporary classical. Yeah, I just really enjoyed those two albums, so I had high hopes for this one. I now finally own my first Steely Dan album. I have a couple of stuff digitally, but on physical format I finally own one. This is one I want on vinyl record one day. This is The Royal Scam by Steely Dan, and this features one of my favorite Steely Dan tunes called Kid Charlemagne. It's a great album. I need this on vinyl record, and I want the album Aja by Steely Dan on vinyl record, and CD that one as well. But yeah, great stuff. And this is what year was this reissue? Does it say? 99 reissue. So good stuff. Haven't heard that album in years. Looking forward to checking that one out again soon. Recently, me and Swellheads Records did a collab about influential American bands, and he chose Talking Heads. This is my favorite Talking Heads album, and I now have it on CD. I have it on vinyl record from my uncle's collection, and I had it digitally from my dad's work friend, or I assume work friend, or his friend. We'll put it that way. And then now I have the physical copy, and She Was is probably my favorite Talking Heads tune, and I need to get more of their works, because I don't have everything, especially in their earlier days, but I would like to get more of them. I lied. I said no more of these were inspired by VC members, but that's not true. This is Opalate. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is Opalate by Tool. And when the Vinyl Truffle, Merrick, entered my 300 subs contest, he showed this album for one of the questions. And I had actually never seen this album before. It's really an EP, but you know what I'm going for. So I was intrigued and picked it up. And Tool is a band I've been recently getting into within the past year, and I would like to get some of their albums on physical format, and I have their debut EP, I believe that's their debut EP, on physical format. Next, we got everybody's favorite Christmas album. I'm saying that jokingly because I've never heard it, and I don't know how good or bad it is. But this is My Kind of Christmas by Christina Aguilera. As I said, most of these were 50 cents, so if I don't like it, why not? But I like Christina Aguilera, I like Christmas music, so I was like, why not? Yeah, it's not looking like she has any original tunes on here. Actually, she has a tune on here called Christmas Time. She has a tune on here called This Year, and she says Zainta Xmas. I don't know what that one is, but actually I don't know what any of those are because they're originals to this album. So, but all the others are traditional stuff that people know, and I won't be listening to this anytime soon because it's not Christmas time, but I figured 50 cents. Why not give it a shot? Next, I got an album I've been looking for a while. On vinyl record or cassette. I never thought I'd find it on CD, but now I have it on CD in no other format. This is the Jacksons' Destiny. Don't be confused, it's the Jackson 5, but they changed their name to the Jacksons partway through the 70s. I'm not really knowledgeable as to the reason why. If anybody is, please tell me down below. But yeah, this had the hit tune Blame It on the Boogie, which was really the reason I grabbed this. But it also has Shake Your Body Down to the Ground, which is a really big hit too. But I had that song already. It was mainly Blame It on the Boogie the reason I bought this, but you know, you can't go wrong with either of those tunes. I've always been a fan of the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons. So, this is Destiny. This is the album The Firm by The Firm. I own this album on vinyl record and cassette. Now I have it on CD. Now I just need Mean Business on CD, and then I have it on both their albums on all formats. Good super group, and not much else to say about that. I look forward to spinning the disc. We're bringing some 90s country, which at this point is classic country, vibes here. This is Leanne Rimes with her album Blue. I don't know the rest of this album. I know the title track Blue, which is a killer tune. So I look forward to hearing the rest of this. She has a song in here called The Cattle Call with Eddie Arnold, which honestly I'm really excited to hear that. That's probably my favorite country yodeling tune, Cattle Call. And Eddie Arnold did it originally in the late 50s, early 60s. And I'm very interested to see how Leanne Rimes goes with Eddie Arnold in regards to the cattle call. That's gonna be really cool, at least for me. I think yodeling, the country yodeling, is a lost art that not a lot of people pay attention to anymore. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I love most of it that I've heard. All right, second to last CD. This is Debbie Gibson, Out of Blue. Now, I used to have the 45 single of the tune, with the original picture sleeve and everything, but I ended up selling it because I enjoyed the tune, but it was like, I'm not gonna listen to it much. So I figured give it to someone who, or sell it to someone who would prefer it. But I found a whole album, so I figured, why not give it a shot? I have Electric Youth by her on vinyl record, which I'd love to find on CD one day, and I enjoy it, so I figured maybe I'll enjoy the whole album. So I look forward to checking that out. And last but certainly not least, this would be Emerson, Lake and Palmer Trilogy. Dylan, the record spinner, knows the story on how I used to have this on vinyl record and now don't. So, Dylan, have I redeemed myself? But, yeah, I have this. And I'm excited to revisit this album. So, those are the goodies I got at Station 1 Records and Books. As always, it's great to go there, and it was nice to see Joey again. So, in Station 1, it's just a great place. It's one of my top 3 record stores in New Jersey, and the remodel. You guys could confirm this, but I think the new remodel looks damn good. So, that's just me. But anyway, what was your favorite thing that I pulled out here that I found today? I'd be curious to know what you think. So, thank you guys for watching. Keep on spinning that wax, and I'll see you in the next Vinyl Record video.